I died choking on my own blood in the back seat of that godforsaken Cadillac, my grandfather's frail hand slipping from mine as the brakes failed and the world exploded into a symphony of shattering glass and twisted metal. The last thing I saw was my mother's face in the rearview mirror, not twisted in horror, but frozen in something colder. Relief, maybe, or the ghost of a calculation finally paying off. And then, nothing. Blackness. Until I woke up gasping in my old twin bed, the faded posters of indie bands peeling from the walls of my childhood bedroom in suburban Chicago, my heart hammering like it was trying to punch its way out of my chest, the date on my phone screaming October 15th, 2018, 7 years before the crash that was supposed to end me. It hit me like a freight train. I was 22 again, the day after Grandpa's first stroke, the day my parents sat me down in the kitchen with their rehearsed lines about family priorities and not getting dragged into his mess. Vivian Hale, fresh out of college with a useless art history degree and dreams of curating exhibits in the Loop, but now armed with the knowledge of every betrayal that would unravel my life. The crash wasn't an accident. It was them, my own flesh and blood, tampering with the brakes because Grandpa had finally signed over the family fortune to me, the disappointing daughter who'd actually bothered to listen to his ramblings about hidden trusts and old grudges. I'd come back, and this time, I wouldn't just survive. I'd burn it all down. The house smelled the same, stale coffee and my father's cheap aftershave masking the faint rot of unspoken resentments. I stumbled to the mirror, staring at the face I hadn't seen in years, sharp cheekbones, wild auburn curls tied back in a messy ponytail, green eyes that now burned with a fire they didn't deserve. My hands trembled as I touched the glass, half expecting it to shatter like the illusion of my so-called family. Downstairs, the clatter of dishes told me Mom was already in performance mode, playing the perfect suburban queen in our McMansion on the outskirts of Naperville, where every lawn was manicured and every secret buried 6 feet under HOA bylaws. I dressed quickly, jeans, a faded black keys tee, sneakers scuffed from too many shifts at the coffee shop, and grabbed my keys. No time for breakfast. Grandpa's assisted living facility was a 20-minute drive, and if memory served, he'd had the stroke last night, right after our weekly video call where he'd whispered about the envelope hidden in his Bible. The one with the documents proving Dad had siphoned off thousands from the family business over the years, back when Grandpa's hardware empire was still thriving before the '08 crash gutted it. I'd ignored it then, too busy dodging Mom's passive-aggressive jabs about my bohemian face. Not this time. The facility, Willow Creek Pines, loomed like a bad memory. Beige brick, manicured hedges hiding the despair inside. I signed in at the front desk, my signature shaky, and bolted to room 214. There he was, Elias Hale, 84 and looking every bit the weathered oak he was, hooked to monitors beeping like accusatory metronomes. His eyes fluttered open as I burst in, and for a split second, I saw confusion, then recognition, as if some part of him sensed the impossibility. "Viv, that you, kiddo?" His voice was a gravelly whisper, but those blue eyes, so like mine, sharpened. I sank into the chair beside him, gripping his hand, the one with the liver spots mapping out a lifetime of calluses from swinging hammers in the family store. "It's me, Grandpa, and I'm here, for real this time." Tears stung, but I swallowed them. No weakness. Not when I knew what was coming. The doctor's grim prognosis, the feeding tubes, the slow fade while Mom and Dad lawyered up to contest his will. In my first life, I tried to help, sitting with him, reading his dog-eared copies of Steinbeck, fighting the good fight until they wore me down with guilt trips and concerned interventions. "He's a burden, Vivian. Focus on your future." Future? What a joke. We talked for hours, or what felt like it in the compressed terror of second chances. He told me about the envelope again, tucked in the family Bible at home, the one Dad thought he'd burned. Proof of embezzlement, of how Richard Hale, my father, the golden boy who'd gone to Wharton on Grandpa's dime, had cooked the books to fund his gambling habit, then blamed the recession when the store folded. Mom knew, of course. Lydia Hale, née Vanderbilt, with her old money pretensions and her side gigs as a real estate flipper, had covered for him, whispering sweet nothings while forging signatures. They'd isolated Grandpa after that, moving him out here to recover, but really to control the narrative. And me? The inconvenient granddaughter who'd inherited his soft heart and big mouth. By noon, the doctors shooed me out for tests, but not before I slipped Grandpa my new number, burned into my brain from 7 years of what-ifs. Driving back, the autumn leaves whipping past like confetti from a funeral I hadn't attended yet. Rage simmered into strategy. Step 1. Get the envelope. Step 2. Expose them without tipping my hand. Step 3. Make them pay in ways that'd haunt their Hamptons wannabe dreams. Home was a powder keg. I pulled into the driveway, the 3-car garage mocking our modest facade, and braced for the ambush. Mom was in the kitchen, chopping carrots with surgical precision, her blonde bob impeccable even for a Tuesday. Dad lounged at the island, scrolling Bloomberg on his iPad, his salt and pepper hair gelled back like he was still closing deals at the firm that fired him last year. Vivian, there you are. Mom's smile was all teeth, no warmth. We were just talking about you. How's Elias? I dropped my bag on the counter, forcing casual. Stable. But he needs us. All of us. Dad didn't look up. Us? Lydia and I have work. You know the drill. Visiting hours are for weekends. The words I'd heard 1,000 times, but now they landed like bullets. I leaned against the fridge, crossing my arms. He's family, Dad. Your father. And he's slipping. Asked about that old Bible today, the one with the family photos. Mom's knife paused mid-chop. A flicker, gone in an instant. Oh, that dusty thing? Probably in the attic. What? Just nostalgia. I smiled, sweet as pie. Inside, I cataloged attic. Second shelf, behind the holiday bins. I'd rate it tonight. Dinner was the usual theater. Grilled salmon, quinoa salad, Dad pontificating about crypto crashes while Mom nodded like a bobblehead. I played along, laughing at the right beats, but my mind raced ahead. After they crashed in front of the TV, some Netflix true crime irony. I crept upstairs, flashlight app on my phone cutting through the dust motes. The attic smelled of mothballs and regret, boxes labeled in Mom's looping script. Christmas '05, Viv's baby clothes. There, wedged between insulation and regret, the Bible. Leather cracked, gold leaf flaking. My hands shook as I flipped to Genesis. Wait, no, the back, Psalms. There, a yellowed envelope, sealed with Grandpa's shaky scrawl. For Vivian, truth at last. Inside, ledgers, bank statements, emails printed in faded ink, Dad's signature on transfers to offshore accounts, Mom's notes in the margins, cover with remodel costs, dates lining up with the store's collapse, and a letter, Grandpa's, dated 5 years before the stroke. Richard, if you take one more cent, I'll bury you in it. I photocopied it all on my phone's scanner app, heart pounding like a war drum. Evidence. Leverage. But as I slid the envelope back, footsteps on the stairs. Dad, in his boxers and a scowl. Viv, what the hell are you doing up here? Couldn't sleep. Looking for that photo album from the lake house. Lie smooth as silk. He eyed me, suspicion narrowing his eyes. Go to bed. And tomorrow, you're calling off work. We're having a family meeting about Elias. The word family tasted like ash. I nodded, slipping past him, the copies burning a hole in my pocket. Sleep didn't come easy that night. Dreams of twisted metal and blood mingled with visions of what-ifs. What if I'd fought harder? What if I'd seen the greed in their eyes sooner? Dawn broke gray and unforgiving, and I woke with a plan sharpening like a blade. The family meeting was in the den, all mahogany paneling and leather armchairs that Dad bought to impress clients who never came. Mom perched on the edge of the ottoman, hands folded like a prayer she didn't believe in. Dad paced, his loafers sinking into the Persian rug. Grandpa's, ironically, a relic from better days. Vivian, sit. Mom's tone brooked no argument. I did, perching like I was on trial. Dad stopped, hands on hips. Look, kiddo Elias. He's not long for this world. Strokes like that? They're a sign. We've talked to his doctors. End stage, they say. Bullshit. In my first life, he'd rallied for months. End stage? He's talking, eating. He needs rehab, not a DNR. Mom leaned forward, eyes soft with fake sympathy. Sweetheart, it's about quality of life. And ours. The bills are piling up, your student loans, Richard's alimony from the first wife, my flips tanking in this market. Elias's care could bankrupt us. There it was, the hook. They'd frame it as sacrifice, but I knew the play. Isolate him. Let nature take its course. then swoop in on the will. Grandpa had told me once, slurring over whiskey, that he'd cut them out years ago, leaving everything to me. The store's remnants, the lake house, the nest egg he'd squirreled away. $1 million easy, tax-free. Enough to start over. Enough to escape. I met Dad's gaze, steady. What if he doesn't want to be a burden? What if he wants to fight? Dad snorted. Fight? For what? Glory days? Viv, you're young. You don't get it. Sometimes you let go. Let go. Like they'd let go of me in that car, whispering it'll be quick as they staged the accident to look like Grandpa's fault. His shaky hands on the wheel, they claimed. I clenched my fists, nails biting palms. And if I help him? Hire a home nurse, move him here. Mom's laugh was brittle. Here? With the market this volatile? No. We're forbidding it, Vivian. Stay out of it. For your own good. For my own good. The words that had chained me before. But now, they were the spark. Fine, I said, voice even. But think about it. Grandpa's all we've got left of the Hales. Lose him, and what's left? I stood, leaving them exchanging glances, wary but satisfied. Fools. That afternoon, I drove to the bank. Wells Fargo on Ogden Avenue, the teller recognizing me from my barista days. Miss Hale? Checking. New account. Trust fund transfer. I slid over Grandpa's power of attorney. He'd signed it digitally last night, before the meeting, in a quiet video call where I confessed fragments of a dream I had. He trusted me. Blindly. The teller blinked at the wire from his hidden account. $250,000, seeded from the store's glory days. Untouchable by Dad's creditors. By evening, I'd hired a private nurse through an app, discreet, cash up front, and arranged for Grandpa's discharge. Against doctor's orders? Sure. Controversial? Hell yes. But in America, money talked louder than white coats. I picked him up at dusk, his belongings in a duffel, monitors ditched like bad habits. Where to, kiddo? He rasped, buckling in. The lake house. Our fortress. It was in Michigan, a 3-hour haul across state lines. Far enough to buy time, close enough to feel like home. The drive was quiet, Lake Michigan's gray expanse mirroring my mood. We talked legacies, how Dad had gambled the store into oblivion, Mom's affairs with contractors to sweeten deals, the envelope's secrets festering like an open wound. Grandpa sighed. I should have told you sooner. But blood's thick. Not anymore, I whispered. The house was as I remembered, shingled eaves, porch swing creaking in the wind, the beach a stone's throw away. I settled him in the master suite, overlooking the dunes, nurse arriving by midnight. Peace, for the first time in years. But peace is a lie in revenge tales. My phone buzzed nonstop. Mom's texts escalating from "Where are you?" to "This is kidnapping." Dad's voicemails, vein-popping fury. "Get back here, Vivian. You're destroying everything." I let them stew, posting vague Instagrams of sunsets and chai lattes, the picture of millennial escape. 2 days in, the lawyer called. Hale family attorney, bought and paid for by Dad. Cease and desist. Claims of elder abuse. I laughed, forwarding the ledgers to a PI I'd hired online. $5K retainer, results in 48 hours. The twist came on day 3. A knock at the door, not the nurse's. I peered through the peephole. A woman, mid-40s, sharp suit, clipboard in hand. Social services. Ms. Hale? We need to speak about Elias. Shit. They'd weaponized the system, the ultimate American flex. I let her in, Grandpa napping upstairs. Her name was Karen, irony not lost, and she rattled off complaints. Unauthorized discharge, lack of oversight, reports of coercion. Dad's doing, no doubt, greased with a donation to the right pockets. He's better here, I said, voice steady. Check his vitals. He's off the morphine drip, eating solids. She flipped pages. Your parents filed a report. Says you're unstable. History of depression, lies, twisted from my face after college rejection letters. My blood boiled. Unstable? They were the ones who dosed my coffee that night, the crash, to make it look like suicide by proxy. Check the records. I'm his POA. Legal. Karen's eyes softened. Pity, the worst flavor. It's not that simple. Family disputes like this. We have to err on caution. Caution, the word that had killed me before. I leaned in, dropping the bomb. What if I told you my parents are frauds? Embezzlement. Forgery. I have proof. She blinked. That's criminal. You'd need to file. Already did. Chicago PD got the packet this morning. Bluff, but the PI was expediting. Her face paled. She made notes, promised to follow up. As she left, I felt the noose tightening. Not mine, theirs. Word spread like Midwest wildfire. By week's end, reporters sniffed around the lake house. Local news, hungry for drama. Granddaughter kidnaps ailing heir. I gave no comment, but leaked the ledgers anonymously to a blogger with a grudge against white-collar crooks. The internet erupted. Threads on Reddit's r/true crime. TikToks dissecting the Hale heist. Dad's firm dropped him. Mom's flips stalled under scrutiny. They drove up unannounced that Saturday, pounding on the door like Jehovah's Witnesses from hell. Vivian, open up. This ends now. Dad's bellow carried over the dunes. Grandpa, from his rocker on the porch, chuckled weakly. Let him stew, Viv. Like moonshine. I stepped out, arms crossed. Mom looked haggard, mascara smudged, Chanel bags sagging like her resolve. How could you? After everything we've given you. Given. I spat. You gave me scraps and guilt. Grandpa gave me truth. Dad lunged forward, finger jabbing. That old man's poisoned you. Those lies. Lies. I pulled out my phone, hitting play on the recording I'd made weeks ago. No, years ago, in my first life, a drunken confession he'd forgotten. His voice, slurred, the store. It was me, Viv. Borrowed too much. Lydia knew. Gasped from them both. Checkmate. Mom's face crumpled. We were protecting you. From him. From poverty. Protecting yourselves, I corrected. From justice. The confrontation stretched into dusk, accusations flying like lake-effect snow. Dad ranted about legacy. Mom wept about sacrifices. Her youth, her dreams, wasted on ungrateful blood. I stood firm, the evidence a shield. Leave. Or the cops get the rest, the affair tapes, the offshore logs. They left broken, tail lights fading into the dark. Victory? Tasted like bile. Grandpa patted my hand. Proud of you, kid. But revenge. It hollows. He was right. The feds came next, raiding the McMansion while I watched live streams from the porch. Charges. Wire fraud, elder financial abuse. Dad in cuffs, Mom pleading the fifth. The will read clean. Everything to me, as promised. Lake house secured. Store revived as a co-op for local artists. My exhibit in the Loop? Funded by the trust, opening to raves. But the twist, the real gut punch, hit months later. A letter, postmarked Chicago, in Mom's hand. Not from jail, but therapy. Vivian, we were monsters, but so was he. Your grandfather. He knew about the gambling. Encouraged it, to control us. The crash? We panicked. But we loved you. Forgive. Lies or half-truths. Grandpa, dying peacefully that spring, confessed on his deathbed. I played them, Viv. Like chess. To see who'd break. He'd rigged the board, pitting us all. Me included, in my first life. I burned the letter, scattering ashes over the lake. Forgiveness? No. But understanding? It tempered the rage. Now, at 29 again, I curate shadows. Exhibits on family fractures. American dreams gone toxic. They remember. And in quiet moments, staring at the dunes, I wonder, who taught the real lesson? Me? Or the ghosts we all carry? The end. Not by kitsch, not wholly happy. Just life. Raw, relentless, reborn. Waking up to that second chance felt like surfacing from a drowning dream, lungs burning, every gasp a reminder that air wasn't guaranteed. But as the days blurred into a frantic rhythm at the lake house, I realized rebirth wasn't a gift. It was a grind, laced with the kind of moral quicksand that makes you question if the revenge is worth the muck. Grandpa's laughter echoed from the sunroom, where he'd prop himself up with pillows to sketch dunes in charcoal, his strokes shaky but sure. Art therapy, Viv. Beats the morphine. I'd nod, brewing tea strong as his stories, but inside, the war council convened. How far would I go? Expose them quietly, let the law grind slow? Or light the match myself? Consequences be damned? The PI's report landed via encrypted email on a Tuesday, fog rolling off the lake like cigarette smoke. Thick dossier, timestamps on Dad's casino trips to Atlantic City, Mom's Venmo trails to a consultant who turned out to be her yoga instructor with benefits. Wire transfers disguised as vendor payments, siphoned from Grandpa's accounts post-stroke in my first timeline. And the kicker, a forged POA from 2015, Mom's signature mimicking Grandpa's tremor. Ironclad, I forwarded it to the DA's tip line, anonymous, with a note, "Follow the money. It's buried in Bibles." Reporters circled like gulls. A local stringer from the Chicago Tribune showed up first, khakis and a notepad, knocking while I grilled perch on the deck. "Ms. Hale, word is your parents are contesting Elias's care. Any comment on the family feud?" I smiled, flipping fillets. "Feud implies equality. This is theft, with a side of hypocrisy." He scribbled furiously. "Theft? Care to elaborate? Check public records. Hardware Hale's bankruptcy. Then ask why my grandfather's nest egg vanished overnight. Off-record bombs, but they detonated." By evening, headlines screamed, "Hale heirloom scandal. Granddaughter alleges embezzlement in patriarch's twilight." Mom called at midnight, voice a razor wire. "You bitch. That was private." "Private?" I laughed, wind whipping the line. "Like tampering with brakes? Or was that family planning?" Silence, then a hiss. "You don't know shit. Elias set us up, dangled the money, watched us squirm. Your precious grandpa's the snake." Twist 1, seeds of doubt. But I hung up, blocking the number. Doubt was their weapon, mine was facts. Grandpa's rehab ramped up, physical therapy via Zoom, a trainer from Detroit who specialized in stroke survivors. He walked the beach by week's end, cane digging furrows in the sand, me trailing like a shadow. "Feel that, Viv? Wind in your lungs. That's living." His words anchored me, but nights were hell, flashbacks to the crash, phantom pains in ribs that had shattered on impact. I'd pace the widow's walk, staring at freighters crawling the horizon, plotting moves that'd make Machiavelli blush. Decision time hit like a squall. The nurse, Maria, Filipina, no nonsense, with a laugh like church bells, overheard me muttering about going nuclear. "Miss Viv, revenge is a mirror. Breaks easy, cuts deep." Wise, but I was already bleeding. I went nuclear. Hired a publicist. Yes, really, out of pocket from the trust skim. Frame it as empowerment. I told her over burner phone. Whistleblower daughter versus toxic inheritance. She leaked to podcasters. The Hale tapes. Anonymized audio of dad's confession spliced with mom's emails. Viral in hours. Twitter. X now, but same cesspool. Lit up. Hale betrayal trending. Memes of dad as Monopoly's Mr. Moneybags in cuffs. Influencers dissected it over oat milk lattes, calling it the Great American Grift. Dad's response. Oppressor from their lawyer's office. Him in a suit 2 sizes too tight. Mom dabbing tears. This is a tragedy of misunderstandings. Our daughter suffers from delusions, exacerbated by stress. Delusions. The word clawed at old wounds. My breakdown after college, really just burnout from their endless, "you're not enough" symphony. I countered with a live stream from the porch, no makeup, wind-tossed hair. "Hey, America. I'm Vivian Hale, and my family tried to kill me for $1 million. Here's why." Slides, ledgers, timelines. The Bible envelope scanned crisp. Views spiked to 50K in an hour. Comments flooded. "Queen shit. Burn them." This why I cut toxic fam. But controversy brewed. Trolls accused me of Munchausen by proxy. Ironic, given the irony. Women's forums debated. Hero or harpy? She's airing dirty laundry for clout. No, she's saving her grandpa. The gray zone thrilled and terrified. Was I hero? Or just as manipulative? Puppeteering grandpa's decline for my narrative? Crisis peaked when CPS showed again. Not Karen, but a supervisor, badge gleaming. Anonymous tip, elder neglect. Dad's Hail Mary. They inspected, fridge stocked, meds charted, grandpa charming them with war stories from Korea. "Best care I've had since the VA, ma'am." They left sheepish, but warned. One more complaint, we intervene. That night, storm raging, I cracked. Curled on the couch, grandpa's head in my lap. I confessed the crash, their hands in it, my death. He stroked my hair, silent long. I knew Viv. Suspected. That's why the will. But killing? Christ. Tears from him, first I'd seen. We're all monsters in the margins. His words reframed it. Not just revenge, but reckoning. Next morning, I drove back to Chicago, solo, leaving Maria in charge. The McMansion loomed, for sale sign staked crooked in the lawn. Inside, echoes, my old room gutted for staging, family photos swapped for stock art. Dad answered the door, unshaven, eyes hollow. "What now?" "Come to gloat. Talk." No pleasantries. We sat in the den, ghosts of that meeting haunting the air. Mom joined, gaunt in yoga pants, wine glass trembling. I laid it out, full disclosure. Plead guilty, testify against the enablers, the accountant, the lawyer. In exchange, no jail for them, just probation, restitution. Grandpa lives out his days free. I get the house, the store. Clean break. Dad barked a laugh. Generous. What? Because blood's a curse, not a chain. Lie. Truth. I wanted them alive to feel the slow rot of irrelevance. Mom whispered, we did love you. In our way. Your way killed me. Blunt. They signed, hands shaking. DA's office ate it up. Light sentences for cooperation, headlines shifting. Hale family finds redemption? Twist 2. As ink dried, Dad slipped me a USB. Insurance. For you. Files. Mom's cancer diagnosis, stage 3, hidden to not burden. Their motive? Not just greed, desperation. Treatment costs, experimental drugs. The crash? Panic after I stole the trust, them driving reckless to talk sense into me, brakes failing in a haze of rage and pills. Sympathy flickered, then died. Excuses. I pocketed it, walked out. Back at the lake, Grandpa waited, sketchpad open to a portrait of me. Fierce, unbroken. Heard the news. You did good, kid. But good? The public ate the reconciliation angle, my streams drying to trickles. Exhibits? Galleries ghosted, whispers of drama magnet. Maria quit, citing too much heat. Alone with Grandpa's decline. Another mini-stroke, bedbound now. I stared at the USB. Upload it. Humanize them, tank my cred? Or bury it, let the world see villains? The choice not. Controversy's currency. Truth or tale? I chose messy truth, leaking snippets to a sympathetic journo. The Hales, greed, grief, and a granddaughter's gambit. Balanced. Brutal. Views rebounded, but so did hate. DMs calling me opportunistic, a fame whore. Grandpa faded that winter, snow blanketing the dunes like absolution. His last words, live loud Viv. For both of us. Funeral small, me, a few store vets, no parents. Their letters piled unopened, apologies, appeals. I scattered his ashes over the lake, wind carrying whispers of forgiveness I couldn't grant. Spring brought green shoots, store reopened as Hale Collective, artist co-op buzzing with murals and makerspaces. My exhibit, fractured frames, sold out, critics praising the raw authenticity. But mirrors lied, scars itched under silk blouses. One night, post-opening, a call. Mom, from hospice. Come see. Please. The drive blurred, miles of regret. She looked small, chemo-ravaged, Dad beside her, diminished. We were wrong. Always. I sat, silent. No tears. I know. As she slipped, hand in mine, I felt it, the lesson. Revenge didn't teach them, it taught me. Mercy in the margins. They remembered. I evolved. Rebirth's afterglow faded fast, leaving me knee-deep in the fallout of my own storm. The lake house, once sanctuary, turned mausoleum after Grandpa's passing, his sketches pinned to walls like yellowing skin, the air heavy with salt and solitude. I'd won the war, but battles lingered. Court dates, therapy sessions mandated by the DA's plea deal, whispers in Chicago's art scene branding me, the scandal curator. Vivian Hale, the girl who traded family for 15 minutes, now curating silence in a gallery that felt too vast. But silence breeds schemes, and mine simmered. Was exposure enough? Or did true payback demand they taste the isolation they'd force-fed me? Summer hit like a hangover, humid and unrelenting. I decamped to the city, subletting a Wicker Park walk-up. Exposed brick, leaky AC, the pulse of L trains rattling ambition into my bones. The Hale Collective thrived under a manager I'd poached from SAC, walls alive with up-and-comers painting betrayals in acrylics. My role? Silent partner, funding from the trust that had once been bait. Mornings, I'd jog the 606 trail, dodging hipsters and regrets, plotting the next move, a podcast series, Inheritance of Lies, interviewing embezzlement survivors. Controversial? Absolutely. Critics called it exploitative, me a vulture picking family bones. But listens topped charts, sponsors knocking. Revenge monetized, American as apple pie laced with arsenic. Dad surfaced first, post-probation, a ghost in a polo shirt at the gallery's first Friday. Viv. Heard you're killing it. His handshake was clammy, eyes darting to exits. Killing something. I poured wine, crisp Sauvignon Blanc masking bile. Small talk. Weather, the market, until he cracked. Your mother's. Fading fast. Thinks of you. Every day. Sympathy's siren call. I quashed it. Tell her I cure it ghosts now. Fitz. He flinched. We deserve the fall. But you're us. Ruthless. Ruthless. The mirror word. Nights after, I'd replay it, scrolling their jailhouse letters digitized on my drive. Dad scrawls, I gambled our soul, Viv. To feel alive. Mom's cursive please. Cancer ate me before it ate you. Forgive the hunger. Hunger. For what? Love, legacy, liquidity? It humanized, but didn't absolve. I drafted responses, deleted them. Better the void. The real heat built around Labor Day. A whistleblower from Dad's old firm, bitter ex, pink slipped in the purge, tipped me off, cover-up files, buried in a cloud drive. Access. A phishing email I'd accidentally sent during plea negotiations, courtesy a hacker buddy from a dark web forum. Ethics. Shot. But the files spilled tea. Not just embezzlement, but insider trading tips Dad fed Mom for her flips, skirting SEC lines. Big fish territory. I sat on it, weeks ticking like a bomb. Twist 3. Karma's Boomerang. My exhibit tour hit New York, MoMA Fringe, Buzz Electric. But en route, a subway scuffle. Purse snatched, me chasing the thief into Brooklyn alleys, heart slamming like 18 adrenaline. Caught him, 17, desperate eyes, backpack stuffed with knockoffs. Cops came. I pressed no charges. Kid needs a break, not bars. Headlines twisted it. Hail heiress goes soft on street crime hypocrisy? Backlash roared. Fox segments decrying soft-on-crime liberals, my streams dipping. The controversy? Deliciously divisive. America loved the flip. From vengeful daughter to bleeding heart? Mom died mid-tour, obituary curt in the Trib. Lydia Hale, 58, succumbs to illness. No service, per her wishes. Dad texted coordinates. A cemetery in Oak Park, plot beside forgotten aunts. I went, alone, black dress fluttering like a flag of truce. Gravestone fresh, dirt piled neat. He stood there, older than sin, tossing lilies. She wanted you to have this. A locket, mine as a kid, engraved Forever Hale. Inside, a photo. Us three at the lake, pre-cracks, my grin gummy-toothed. Keep it, I said. Tokens don't rewrite history. He nodded, spent. Lesson learned, Viv. Emptiness. As I drove back, locket heavy in my pocket, the files burned urgent. Leak them? Destroy the remnants of their name? Or, mercy round 2? The hacker pinged. Your call, boss. Nuke or neuter? I chose neuter. Anonymized drop to the SEC. Enough for fines, not felonies. No splash, just a quiet sting. Dad's consulting gigs dried. Mom's estate auctioned for pennies. He faded to Florida, a condo in Boca, postcards sporadic, sun's bright. Missed the fight. Autumn leaves turned, and with them, my pivot. Inheritance of lies wrapped, pivot to reclaimed roots. Stories of survivors rebuilding sans blood ties. Guests, adoptees, cut-off kids, elders like Grandpa would have loved. Ratings soared, but so did doubt. Was I healing, or hoarding trauma for content? Therapy unpacked it. Vivian, revenge was your armor. Now what's underneath? Underneath? A girl who died unloved, reborn to love fierce. Controversial decision. I invited Dad on the pod. Live, unscripted. The Monsters monologue. Promo teased. Hear the other side, or don't. Studio lights hot. Mics live, audience packed with skeptics. He shuffled in, paunchier, humbled. Viv, I broke us. Gambling wasn't vice, it was void. Your mom chased status to fill it. We saw Elias's money as salvation, not sin. Gasps. I leaned in. And me? Collateral. His eyes watered. Worst sin. The crash. We drove to confront you, high on hope and hate. Breaks? Warn, ignored. Our fault all. Confession raw, ratings gold. Post-show, DMs split. Redemption arc. Too little, too late. Me? Catharsis cracked open. We hugged. Awkward, bone thin, but real. But twists don't tidy. Weeks later, a letter from Boca. Dad, suicide. Pills, like Mom's hidden demons. Note, lesson etched. Free now. Guilt tsunami. Had I pushed? Or pulled the trigger with leaks? Funeral in Florida, me flying solo, sand in my shoes. Empty urn, cremated cheap. I scattered him over the Gulf, waves indifferent. Back home, gallery humming, I curated his end, a corner in reclaimed, his old ledger, framed as cautionary art. The cost of counting pennies. Winter whispered closure. Trust grew, collective expanded, scholarships for Hale outliers, kids like me, orphaned by choice. Podcast won a Webby, speech at South by Southwest. Family isn't blood, it's the fight you choose. Standing ovations, but mirrors showed scars. Eyes haunted, laugh rarer. One dawn, locket in hand, I drove to Naperville. McMansion raised, lot bare for condos. I planted a sapling. Oak, like Grandpa, roots to reclaim dirt. As rain fell, I whispered, lesson over. Live. But life's no epilogue. A call, pregnant fan, inspired to cut toxic ties. Your story saved me. Ripple. Redemption. The sapling took root unevenly that first spring, much like the fragile piece I'd stitched from the tatters of my own life. Chicago's art world embraced me as the phoenix, scarred, sure, but soaring, galleries clamoring for Hale, the reckoning. My retrospective blending Grandpa's charcoals with my digital deconstructions of family ledgers. Sold-out crowds, critics cooing over visceral catharsis. But viscerality has hooks, mine caught on the what-ifs, yanking me awake at 3 a.m., staring at ceiling fans whirring like accusations. Had the lesson stuck, or just scarred? Dad's end, self-inflicted, solitary, haunted like a bad remix, his note a post-it on my psyche. Free now. Free from what? Me? I threw myself into the collective, mornings lost in mentor matches, teens from Southside sketching dreams deferred, elders teaching woodwork with hands like Grandpa's. Vivian, this place? It's redemption retail. One vet quipped, hammering shelves. Laughter came easier, but trust? A rarer bird. Dates fizzled. Guys sensing the fortress walls, my quips two-edged. Family? Nah, I collect frenemies. Solitude suited, or so I lied to my therapist, sessions now voluntary, a luxury of the reborn. Controversy circled back midsummer, uninvited guest at a rooftop gala. A podcaster, rival to mine, sleazy with a mic, cornered me by the charcuterie. Viv, off record. Dad's suicide, you're doing? That pod EP felt like a public flogging. Wine soured in my glass. On record, grief's a solo sport. Blame the player, not the game. It aired clipped, viral bait. Hale heiress hints at paternal push. Backlash 2.0. True crime TikToks theorizing I'd ghosted him to death. Women's groups split on boundaries versus bullying. I fired back with a thread. Revenge isn't erasure, it's exposure. He chose the exit. Honor that, don't haunt it. Engagement spiked, but so did the emptiness. Lesson evolved. Payback's echo chamber amplifies your own screams. Twist 4, the gut twister, arrived via certified mail, return address a law firm in Delaware. Estate of Richard Hale, final bequest. Inside, not cash, but keys, a safety deposit box in the loop. I trekked downtown, Wells Fargo's vault cold as judgment. The teller, same from 18, winking, Miss Hale. Again, box yielded dust and revelation. Tapes. Mini cassettes, labeled Confessions 15 to 22. Dad's voice, crackling through my Bluetooth adapter. Rants to a journal mic. Post-gambling binges. Lydia's right. We're poison. Viv's the only light. God, if I could rewind. Hours dissolved in transcription. Tears salting the keyboard. Not excuses, excavations. His Wharton dreams crushed by Grandpa's tough love. Mom's Vanderbilt snubs fueling her flips. The crash? Detailed. Drove like demons, arguing the will. Brakes squealed. Ignored warnings for months. Our rage, the real killer. And buried deep. A letter to me, undated. Vivian, if you hear this, know I broke first. Broke us all. But you? Unbreakable. Build from the rubble. Love, Dad. Love. The word I'd exiled. I sat in Grant Park, pigeon scattering, weighing upload versus earn. Public would devour. Final arc. Tragic closure. Private? Healing's quiet work. Choice. Hybrid. Edited cuts to the pod finale. Echoes. Unheard. Voiced over. Anonymized. Ending. Monsters make mirrors. Look close. You see yourself. Downloads crash servers. Listeners wept in voicemails. This healed my dad rift. You're the daughter I needed. But trolls thrived. Grifter, milking death for downloads. Controversy's gift, clarity. I shuttered the pod, pivoting funds to collective scholarships. No more mining pain. Time to mine potential. Fall brought harvest. Literal, with a farm-to-table bash at the store, artists hawking prints amid hay bales. There, amid laughter and lantern light, a face from the fog. Elena, college roommate, long lost to coasts. Viv, saw your TEDx clip, reborn roots. Killed me. Hugs, then coffee dates, morphing to dinners. She saw the walls, didn't flinch. You're not ruthless. You're real. First crack in solitude's shell. But life's script twists till the credits. Winter solstice, a blizzard buried the city, power flickering like hope. Elena snowed in. We hunkered with whiskey and what-ifs. Your folks, monsters? Human. Messy as us. Confession spilled. The tapes, the crash's chaos theory. She listened, hand in mine. Then you're the rewrite. Dawn broke white, and with it, decision. The locket, buried with the sapling. Roots over relics. Spring unfurled green. Elena's lease co-signed. Collective's first mural fest drawing crowds. My solo show. Second skins, sheddings of self, installations of ledgers turned lanterns, glowing with reclaimed light. One eve, post-fest, I walked the 606 alone, city humming electric. A text, from an unknown. Viv, it's over. Florida sunsets my piece. Our dad? No, a cousin, forwarding his last. He'd rallied. Post-note hoax. Therapy, not terminus. Living quiet, beachcombing shells. Lesson looped. Assumptions kill slower than breaks. I texted back. Tell him shells suit. No reply needed. Closure's a circle, not a cut. Years blurred. Elena's ring on my finger, a quiet city hall due, collective franchising to Detroit. Kids in workshops, echoing my own life. Miss Viv, what's your story? Fairy tales with fangs, I'd wink. But happy endings? Earned. The sapling? Towered now, branches cradling birdsong. Beneath, ghosts whispered. Betrayal's bite fades, but bite back wise. They remembered. Dad's postcards trickled, Mom's locket a talisman. Me? I remembered to live loud, love loud. Reborn, not remade. Forever Hale? Nah. Forever Vivian. Epilogue's echo. In a world of quick cuts, the long game wins. Revenge? Just the prologue.